What is going on, guys? This is Mike Greco, and you're listening to Real Talk, the #1 real estate podcast in the state of New Jersey. Thank you so much for tuning into our first ever podcast episode. And we have a very, very special guest for this first episode, John Natale. Before we get into the episode, I want to read some ads from our awesome sponsors. Thank you so much to our sponsors for sponsoring the show. We have Cleanouts by G. Bella, Garden State Water Heater Company, Josh Blair with Family First Funding, and Goldfinch Title. Cleanouts by G. Bella is a full-service cleanout business offering cleanouts for offices, homes, commercial buildings, estate sales, attics, basements, storage units, and much, much more. They will remove carpeting, wood or metal sheds, above-ground pools, wood or metal swing sets, and scrap metal. They basically do it all. They'll remove any trash you have, and they're very, very reliable and very easy to get in touch with. Cleanouts by G. Bella also offers rekeying services for foreclosed properties. So if you're in the REO business or the foreclosure business of real estate, they're definitely going to be somebody you want to keep on your contact list. They are fully licensed and insured company, available for any of your property preservation or cleanout needs, working with many realtors and attorneys throughout the state of New Jersey. For a free estimate, contact Frank at 908-296-8519 and check them out on Facebook and YouTube at Cleanouts by G. Bella. Again, it's 908-296-8519. Give them a call today. Our second sponsor for this episode is Garden State Water Heater Company. My 50-gallon water heater was leaking. I Googled them and I found Garden State Water Heater Company. Sean and Carmen showed up the same day, and within an hour, they removed and replaced a 50-gallon Rheem water heater and showed me how to flush and maintain the unit for longer use. They're very hands-on, and they will show you and instruct you on how to maintain your water heater as well as replace it. I couldn't have asked for better customer service. They showed up, they were quick, and they were extremely reasonable. Garden State Water Heaters cover all of New Jersey and can be reached anytime at 973-434-4100. Again, their number is 973-434-4100. Give them a call today and get a free estimate. What's going on, guys? This is Mike Greco with Real Talk, the #1 real estate podcast in New Jersey. Not sure if that claim is true or not, but we're just going to put it out there and just make the claim.
Love that.
Today, we have a very, very special guest. He's one of Jersey's top producers and my close friend, John Natale.
Hello. Thank you, Mike, for inviting me. First of all, it's an honor to be at the first one, the
First
inaugural
one.
one. The inaugural one usually has a very special guest, so I'm very, very honored. Thank you.
Exactly. So how are you doing? Tell me about your life. What's going on as of recent?
It's been an interesting experience the last 90 days.
Right.
It certainly has been.
Yeah.
You've had to lean back on some of your experiences in life, as we spoke a couple minutes ago about certain things that have happened, either during Sandy when we were shut down for a couple of months.
Yeah.
What happened in the real estate market back then, what happened in life.
Yeah.
And then also back in 2007 and 8 when we had the housing crash. So there's been a lot of different things, and there's no playbook.
Yeah.
So you have to use your gut feeling, and you have to be very nimble and
Inventive kind of about it. Yeah, absolutely. I was going to ask you, how did COVID affect your business? And are you
Well, we've never experienced anything like this, and I think part of the frustration, without being too political, is that since we haven't really had a national approach to this, meaning that when Adele first said, "Oh, the office is going to be closed for 2 weeks," we kind of really just thought, all right, it's going to be like a 2-week snow days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then we'll be back in the
Patient.
office April 1st and back up and running, doing our open house, and not really realizing the real seriousness of it.
Yeah.
And so we've had to, adjust along the way, and even now, it's since we don't have that national policy, we really don't know where we're going.
Yeah.
As far as right here now in New Jersey, things are pretty easy.
Yeah.
But again, now you see how so many people in other parts of the country that loosened the restrictions and everybody went into the bars. The indoors seems to be the real negative right now. So that's, until this is really solved, life going back to normal seems to be a little bit further out.
Right. And we've never dealt with anything this long of a time period where it's like, we can't really do much for like almost a 6-month period.
Right.
So, but your team's you're very listing focused and listing heavier more so, right?
Well, again, that's from the changes in the market.
Okay.
Right? Years ago, the biggest thing that I tell the people is, Keller Williams is all about research. 2011, there were 5 million homes sold in the United States.
Yeah.
And all of these internet sites, the Boomtowns, the Zerples, I don't think some of them weren't in business 10 years ago, but Conversion and something like that.
Yeah.
They generated 5 million internet leads. 5 million sales, 5 million leads. Fast forward to 2020, there are 5.4 million sales of home sales. There's over 100 internet leads. It's a business.
Yeah.
And so what that means is two things. Number one is the same person is clicking on 20 of our different sites.
Definitely.
So 20 of us of agents who are all paying $2,000 to $3,000 a month, not me anymore, for all of these buyer leads, right, are chasing this one maybe lead.
Yeah.
And I tell this story all the time. Back in 2014, I was paying a lot of money for all these leads. And again, I always encourage any of our Keller Williams brethren to, it's a little on hold right now, to go to Keller Williams Mega Camp or Family Reunion, because there's a lot of wisdom that's given.
Yeah.
And so back in early 2014, I remember I was overloaded by paying $20,000, $30,000 a month for all these buyer leads, and I'm going like, well, and everything started shifting where there's more leads and the quality of the leads started really dropping.
Declining, yeah.
So Gary Keller was doing his usual thing in front of the whole crowd, and he goes, well, who's paying $10,000 a month for Zillow leads, and the place is going pandemonium. Me, I'm loving to pay all that money to Zillow, and
Yeah.
wow, and so he almost, and he said, well, who would like to receive free buyer leads, the best buyer leads that you could possibly get? Now the place, Mike, is in total pandemonium. I mean, he's screaming. The roof is like, you go, where are they? Gary, where are they? Right? And he goes, get a listing. And it was like an axe actually hit me right through the head. I mean, I always have been listing based, but I was like 50-50, maybe 60 buyers, 40 sellers and stuff like that. Well, then I just came home, I canceled all my buyer websites because they weren't really paying anymore.
Yeah.
And if you're running an effective business, you have to be brutally honest with what you're spending, and are you making any money?
Right.
See, the leads become like crack. You're afraid to cancel because how am I going to meet anybody?
Right.
But you have to have your own confidence that if you practice real estate, if you actually practice real estate and do all of the activities, you will be giving yourself the best chance of success.
Yeah.
And that's what we focus on on my team, is just doing all of the activities. There are a few teachers on my team. The prime, as I got all about stats and everything else like that, but my biggest producers are all in their 30s. And some of them don't do a lick of phone calls. Everything is from referral. Everything is from their Facebook. Why? Because all of their friends are buying and selling. But as long as they put themselves out on there, again, are you a real estate agent or a secret agent?
Yeah.
So if you're a real estate agent, you're promoting yourself and doing a lot of the things that you're doing. So that 30 to 40 thing, and then their friends' parents are also maybe selling or buying. So they're just practicing, their referral base, their sphere, and stuff like that. But others who are starting like yourself should practice the whole menu.
Doing everything, consistency. Yeah, definitely. And something I was going to say was, I feel like personally, when I'm seeing with the market after COVID, or right now where we're at, a lot of the agents who focus on listings are still crushing it and doing very well because there was not much inventory in the market.
Right.
And properties were selling for above market value, a lot of buyers. I'm seeing tons of bidding. I don't know if you're seeing on your team, tons of bidding war scenarios.
Right. Now, you can imagine as a buyer's agent, you're going around with a buyer and you've missed 6 in a row.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Well, first of all, you're not using the correct strategies that you would be learning on my team, because most of my agents are winning their bidding wars.
Yeah.
But at the same time, even the great one on my level, okay, when you start missing 3 or 4 of them, they're gonna give you up and go right straight to the listing agent, which again is the reason why you wanna be listing based, because now what we are experiencing right now, not gonna last, but it's okay, it's just maybe a couple more weeks, it might be a month or 2, I don't know, and there are certain pockets that there's plenty of inventory.
Yeah.
Like today, I went on a listing appointment, and the gentleman happened to be right around the 499 area in Jackson. Okay, there's 31 properties on the market between 475 and 5.25.
Yeah.
So it's not as if there's gonna be bidding wars going on in Jackson between 475 and 5.25.
Right.
I mean, you can't tell the person, oh yeah, you'll be sold in 3 days.
Yeah.
But, if you're going into freehold and, you're listing something at $5.99 and there's only 2 listings, you can bet your bottom dollar you'll be, that it's gonna go, it's gonna go quick.
Yeah.
And then on the listing side, you have to use your experience, because if you listed right in line and now it becomes a bidding war, well, yeah, great, you listed something at $4.19 and some nut from New York offered $4.50, and temporarily your client is very happy with you. If you did not exercise your experience skills and forced everyone who the minute that they went over $4.19 that you're waiving the appraisal, right? Your client's not gonna be too happy when he finds out, because the bank's not gonna approve that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the bottom line is when the value comes in, it gets praised, at $4.15.
Yeah.
And you're at $4.50 in contract, your client's not gonna be too happy.
You're in
Because that's 2 weeks, it's 2 weeks before the closing and he's already packed up. And now there's an F in front of Mike's name instead of a G,
Yeah.
And that's it, and that's the truth. So that's the difference right now in being on my team, we go over all the strategies. I'm involved in almost every bidding war that's going on, on the buy side, and just giving people advice. Because you also have to give advice about what price to go up to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, a lot of us are using now escalation clauses, but again, with a limit, and if you don't get it, you don't get it, good, it's good miss, let somebody else get it, because remember, that's how we got in trouble in 2007 and 8. People paid for ridiculous prices, and,
Yeah, that's true. We don't want to see another crash.
Yeah, well, it's not a matter of that, we were headed to a correction, but now, with 3% mortgages, it's very affordable, you could buy a place.
Yeah.
So the thing about it is just that, so you understand what's going on, and,
Oh, yeah.
and also, psychologically, because of the COVID.
Yeah.
People were, locked in their house for 2 to 4 weeks, and they're going like, I gotta get the F out of here.
Yeah.
And you go like, so you understand it, but it's been happening at all price ranges. I mean, 2 million, people from New York and stuff like that. So it's been, listen, it's been a very positive surprise that I did not expect.
Yeah.
So also from the COVID, I used that as an excuse to really pare down the rest of my expenses. Because at the end of the day, we're running a business for profit.
Yeah.
Okay? Very few agents are running a profit. Okay?
That's true.
Okay, so.
Especially when you're paying $10,000 for a Zillow leads.
Oh, I know, if you're paying anything, well, it's expensive, you're running a business. So you tell me what business that could be run on a shoestring, I mean, you can't afford, you can't run a dry cleaning business, you can't run a restaurant, you need capital. And sometimes you need to spend, even if you own a restaurant, you gotta get the word out to get people in the door.
Yeah.
You can't just because you have a chef, that has great food, the word gets around, but you still need to get the word out there, you gotta get billboards, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, so.
Yeah. All right, now I'm gonna take it back real quick.
I'm ready.
I wanna ask you about your past and like what you were doing before real estate, your background. Do you have a background in business? Do you have, where were you working before real estate, and then how did you kind of transition into it?
Well, it's all about fate. That's what I always say. That's one of the reasons why I'm very successful, because I'm not really a salesperson. Even when I meet someone, I let them know about fate and keeping your head up and always looking up. So my career, even going back to when I graduated college, which was 1977. But I already had been working on Wall Street from 1974.
Okay.
So I was working on Wall Street as a trader and proprietary trader. Went out to Chicago for 2 years, traded on the floor. If you remember that movie, Trading Places. You remember that movie, Trading Places? That was me. Jumping up and down. I was like your brother.
Okay.
I had the hair parted on one side, and then by the end of the day, it was parted on the other side.
It was a mess.
Yeah, it was a mess. Yeah, it was a mess because you're jumping up and down and yelling. It was exciting, but it didn't make
Yeah.
any money. But I mean, what do you do? What do you know what to do at 22 or 23?
Just figuring it out.
So you figure it. Well, I wasn't really studying the strategy. See,
Okay.
that's one of the things that I would just encourage you. It's the strategy of what you're trying to do.
Mhm.
Understand that, and execute.
Yeah.
And then execute. Implement and execute.
Yeah.
So the thing about, because you have it, you just gotta be patient.
Yeah.
And persistent and consistent. That's it. And you're consistent. So I worked at a couple of different Wall Street companies. Went to Chicago, came back home to New York. Worked at a few different things, and then back in 1990, I started my own trading company. Had my
Wow.
own hedge fund and everything else like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I didn't know this.
yeah, I was
Wow.
trading for my own account, and then in 2000 they changed to decimals,
Okay.
to pennies.
Okay.
And so trading for your own account, it's like your commission rate is 2.5%,
Right.
and all of a sudden now it became 0.25%.
Okay.
Mm.
Ouch. Not good.
Well,
Not.
not easy to make money.
Yeah.
Not easy to make money, and then the business changed. So there might be more investment, and even now it's all computer run and everything else like that with big supercomputers. So when it like fate, what I mentioned about fate, at the same time, had a friend of mine. Because I coached for 20 years in Homedale, youth sports, Pop Warner, basketball, everything else like
Okay.
that. So Larry Vecchio, the owner of Better Homes, was always, he was impressed with how I coached his son, and he always, come work for me, I run all these offices, I'm opening offices like crazy and everything else like that. So I finally took the leap back in 2004, and I said, but I still want to trade, but as soon as I liked it, as soon as I got in it, I liked it.
Yeah.
I was working, helping him build the lead generation and everything else like that, and I finally got my license in 2005, and then I went to work for, how I really got my name, okay, was that, the market was already starting to peak out, and no one really wanted to spend $40,000-$50,000 on commissions.
Right.
So it got Larry Vecchio. He was actually he's one of those visionaries, and he says, we got to start offering flat fee as an alternative to the 5%. So someone would pay, an owner who didn't want, would pay $500 up front. Even back then, there was no showing time. There was none of that stuff. All the owners were making their own appointments.
Right.
All the calls were going to call the owner for the appointment. Every showing was call the owner. Wasn't call the agent. Was call the owner for the
Yeah.
appointment.
I can't imagine that.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So, and this is 2005, it's not too long ago, 2006, 7, 8. I mean, showing time didn't really show. I'm the first one to use showing time in the whole county.
Really?
Okay, yeah, I was the first one.
I
Because
didn't
back then
know.
there
Wow.
was another service, and they went out of business. But I was already using showing time, and they go like, "Why are you using showing time?" I said, "Listen, it's it was affordable,
Easy. Yeah.
and I was like the pioneer." But anyway, so Larry was a visionary. He goes like, "We got to offer flat fee product." Well, anyway, I ended up leaving, and then I went to work at Real Mud Realty. That was really my first real job,
Okay.
as a broker, as an agent, is to work at Real Mud Realty.
Okay.
And Gary Ragusa, the owner at the time, he did sell it. I said, I want to go. He was just getting orders from for sale by owner.com and Fizbo.com, and that was his business.
Yeah.
He was basically going to work, and it was genius. It was genius, and while it lasted, I mean, he basically just showed up at his office and looked at his computer, and every time some for sale by owner clicked that button that said flat fee MLS, he had another $400 or $500 in his pocket,
Yeah,
And if
wow.
he did 3 or 4 of those a day,
Yeah.
risk-free, all he did was posting, right? And then he
Yeah.
gave it to somebody who was paying, $10, $15 an hour to post the listing. It was up and running. Don't bother
Easy.
me, just let me know when you have a contract. So literally, it was a cash machine. Literally a cash machine, right? So I went to work, I proposed to him when I got my license. I said, I'd love to sell flat fee.
Yeah.
He goes, John, just go knock your socks out, I
Yeah.
says, out of every $500, give me 50, you know, you keep 450, and that was it. So now I had a way of going to a massive amount of owners, advertise, and if I had 3 or 4 of these coming in a week, you know, now I had you know, 1,500 or 2,000 cash coming in, not cash, but I mean money coming in,
Yeah.
so I can make my mortgage payment, I can do this, and then what happened? Real estate 101. All the listings go in your name, what do you think calls? The buyers, call
Yep.
the listing agent.
Yeah,
So, and if you're a good salesperson, and which I am, well, listen, if you don't buy this, I can sell you something else.
exactly.
Or
Yeah.
I do know something else. That,
Of
you know,
course.
and that's what that's kind of hard now to be a buyer's agent, but that's just temporarily. But you know, again, you got to know. You
Yeah.
know, well, you're looking at this section of Tom's River. How about, you know, over there in Brick, or how about over there in another section of Ocean County? So you got to know your stuff. You got to know your inventory. That's very, very important. So that's it. That's how I got my start. And then within 6 months, I had 130 listings in my name. 130.
Oh my
I mean, I
goodness.
remember going on vacation and I looked at it. It was 131 listings, and and then right as soon as I got back, Adele DeMoro called. You know, actually the team leader called, and then she put me in touch with Adele, and they said, "You got to come inside the tent."
Yeah, they
You
brought
know,
you into Keller Williams?
Yeah, and then they brought me into Keller Williams because I'm like kind of a guaranteed capper. And even though back then I remember telling her, I go, yeah, I know everything there is about real estate. I mean, I had my license for a year.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I mean, I said, yeah, I know everything from real estate, you know.
Yeah.
And not, you know, I knew Keller Williams, but I, you know, just, but right away it was all about the money because they were paying the most amount. Them and Remax is really the two models, and now you got EXP, I guess. But the thing about it is those are the models that will pay, where you keep the most amount of your commissions.
Right, right,
Not knowing really all about the team and the business and everything else like that.
right. Well, that must have been crazy. It must have been very easy to lock those listings down because I know how difficult a for sale by owner is when it comes to commission and wanting to cut commission as much as possible. So flat fee must have been a dream. I
Yeah,
can
well,
imagine.
because it was, I became like the anti-realtor, so I was, you know, like, you don't need to pay 5%, let's throw me $500 up front, you
Yeah.
save 20,000, and you offer the buyer's agent commission, and you can still sell it on your own. You know, now, back then, I was actually still doing, you know, it was almost my version of full service, I would offer them full, you know, like, then I would cherry pick the best, I did open house every Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, but I cherry picked the best ones I wanted to do.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
because, and I didn't have that as a team, I mean, I was my own, I was a one-man army.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy, you
That's
know.
awesome.
It was crazy.
Was there any reason you got involved in the business? Any interest prior to real estate or?
No, I fell into it because I had Larry Vecchio was a very good friend, and then he
Okay.
kept bugging me to go out coming into real estate, and then I, you know, was looking for an alternative to, and it's not easy. Listen, I had to recreate myself at 50.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 65 now, so it's, you know, it's just not, it wasn't easy. But the thing is just that if you're a people person and you have the skills, obviously, you know, I'm sorry, you know, not that I feel bad. I wish I got into it when I was your age.
Yeah.
You know, be a trillionaire. But the
Yeah.
thing is, but again, that's not how life is.
It all happens for a reason.
Life is keeping your head up and keeping your head up and just you know, looking for opportunities. Same way even when as you're a realtor, you know, you could keep your hand in your computer, or you could, you know, do an open house and look for every single person that's
Yeah, you never know
It's
what's
coming
gonna
your
happen.
way, yeah.
It's all natural. Just happen naturally.
right.
Yeah.
Good
All right.
question so far.
Yeah, yeah. Listen.
You're ready.
I wanted to ask you if you remember your first transaction.
Absolutely.
All right, hear about
Absolutely,
that.
I
How's
do
that
remember
go?
the first transaction. Because it actually was, I think, a condo in Strickland Farms, and it was a client that, someone who already knew me, so it was kind of like a referral, but I had no idea, you know, how to fill out the contract.
Yeah.
Or, you know, we had to handwrite it back then, and then you had to bring it to the client to sign, everything was hand,
Yeah.
and it's, you know, back 2006, you know, it was like, everything was by hand. So, the agent who was on the other side, she was an older Remax Central agent, and, you know, I think the asking price might have been $289, and I think we started at $280, and then she ripped me for like offering something so low, and I go like, ma'am, I mean, I don't, you know, like, I had no idea what I was even doing, so I
Yeah.
almost said, I'm sorry, you know, stuff like that. But we ended up having a deal, and then to go through the process and everything else like that, but yeah, I
Yeah.
remember. And then my second one, the guy, the family, he ended up being he ended up being a realtor, he ended up getting his real estate license like
Oh,
8
wow.
years later, and then was on my team, and now he's doing his own thing. You know, he got out of real estate though. Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. So you meet a lot of interesting people. You know.
Oh yeah, I know. I met some real characters.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah,
crazy
you just
people.
started. You just started.
I know. I'm just starting. I already met. It's too many characters
Yeah.
for me to handle.
Yeah, you have to write a book other than your podcast.
You should write a book. I mean, it's a crazy story, like, you know, your background, but like even how quickly you came up in the real estate game. You know,
Yeah.
you've only been, what, 15 years?
Yeah.
15 years. I mean, it's
Well,
a
I was
crazy
selling like
story.
crazy. I was platinum the first year, but my point is, you have to have talent, and you have to understand the strategy, and not it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody's a people person. Not everybody's a go-getter.
Yeah.
And it's not, if it was easy, 19 million people would be doing it. It's
Yeah,
not.
that's true. I always talk to my friends. I'm always like, it's so easy. You have to get involved, but you know, it might be easy for me, but everybody's different, like you're saying.
Right.
And you know, some people it might not be their thing.
Right.
But, all right, we're gonna go to a quick ad break, and then we'll be right back with the rest of the episode.
Love that.
This episode is also sponsored by Josh Blair with Family First Funding. Buying a home should be one of life's greatest moments. Creating a happy customer is not just an idea, it's a tangible result that Josh strives to achieve on every single transaction. Josh's biggest passion and drive today is still the same, helping others achieve their personal goals and dreams. At Family First Funding, their mission is to set high standards in the mortgage industry, and they are committed to quality customer service, putting the people they serve first. Take advantage of their expertise in the residential lending industry by calling Josh Blair today. You will find that the skill, professionalism, and consideration they give to each of their clients is what will make getting your loan a successful endeavor. You can reach Josh personally anytime at 732-904-7856. Again, his number is 732-904-7856. And I can testify personally, I work with Josh on many deals. He is my preferred lender, and he does an amazing job. His team is available around the clock, 24/7. I call and text him anytime. So if you're a realtor looking to work with a new lender who's going to be reliable, answer your calls, and be on top of your deals, he's the guy to go to. And last but not least, we have Goldfinch Title. Goldfinch Title is backed by Trident Abstract out of Wall Township. A leader in the industry, Trident has been in business since 1976. At Goldfinch, they have specialized teams ready to respond with solutions tailored to your needs, whatever they may be. This ensures that you receive maximum responsiveness, cost effectiveness, and efficiency. In partnership with their growing networks of offices around the globe, they have the flexibility to service national and multinational customers. Communication is key, and from the moment your offer is accepted, Goldfinch representatives will walk you through every step of the process. I can personally vet for them as well. I've worked with them on many deals. They work with my preferred attorney, and I've had nothing but a pleasure working with them, and every transaction that's in their hands has gone extremely smooth. Goldfinch has been vetted by most major banks and lenders. They offer full settlement services, making the process with them simple and completely cohesive. So if you're interested in working with them, call 732-547-2242 for a quote today or to learn more about their services. Again, the number is 732-547-2242.
All right, we are back with John Natale. So far, so good for the first episode. You enjoying yourself?
Excellent. Very good. Your questions are awesome, and it's very entertaining. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming. So I wanted to ask you, you were in business during 2007 when the market crashed. So what was the atmosphere like? What was your experience with that?
So what I really remember, and that's the always the concern about what's going on right now, is actually there were obviously more sellers than there were buyers. And there were a lot of people that were locked in at a lot high price, and then the prices were starting to soften.
Right.
And then it started to snowball. It started to snowball to the point where then a lot of people, there was the haves and have-nots. What I mean by that, the haves are people that still had equity, and the have-nots are the people that were now upside down. Were upside down. And that became a very important part of that scenario, especially down here in Jackson.
Yeah.
Jackson, a lot of people got in, from New York because they couldn't find anything. It was just like a natural progression. They couldn't find anything in Marlboro or Manalapan, tried in Freehold, tried maybe a little bit in Howell, but then all of a sudden, lo and behold, it's like almost like how I found my first house when I moved 37 years ago. Came from Brooklyn to Homedale. But I wasn't looking at home though. I was like down here in Middletown looking at 9 weeks in a row. And the next thing you know, my agent at the time said, I got this one last thing to show you. This new construction in Homedale was way above my budget. I mean, I was in the 250 budget, maybe 275, and she goes, it's 315. But like every house I've ever sold, I've never sold a house. I have over 3,000 sales. I've never sold a house. Now the property sells itself, but you need to, recognize motivation.
Right.
The wife never lies. Okay, I mean the shirt starts going like this, and then then they go, Mike, we got to get this.
Yeah.
Or Mike, we got or when you're working with owners, with the offers. Well, obviously everybody likes full asking, but sometimes you have to have those difficult conversations.
Yeah.
Where it isn't the time to go.
Yeah.
3 people have stopped at 1.8 million.
Yeah.
Or 1.85 million, or 730,000. I would love to get you $1 million, but the market's spoken.
Yeah.
Is it time to? Wouldn't you agree? It's time to go.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, it is what it is. But so the question again, I'm sorry.
The crash.
Oh, the crash.
How
So
was-
the thing was that you had to have those difficult conversations with owners. Again, it's not easy when you're walking in and you're going on a for sale by owner appointment and you don't know it yet. But it's a 575. Well, he's asking 575, but the real price is like 480.
That's tough.
Yeah. How are you going to get that listing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, those conversations are not easy. And again, when you're in a competitive thing. So, again, you see the market swings back and forth all the time, with opportunities. Like right now, you can't even bother with a for sale by owner because they're all selling. I mean, if it's a decent product, if they price it in line, they don't need your services, certainly.
Yeah.
So right now it would be expires, if you can find any expires, stuff like that, because a lot of them, and you cannot assume, okay, you cannot assume that people know what's going on in the market. They're probably watching CNN.
Yeah.
They're probably watching this and going like, coronavirus, I don't want to go outside my house. And no, they're literally running to Whole Foods with it masked up and gloved up, and they're running home. And there's some people don't, haven't even been out, don't even be anything. Much less you want to be able to tell them, ma'am, your house is up 5 or 8% in the last 3 weeks, or is up 5% in the last 2 months or something like that, right? Or this is a short-term little blip. So so now it's swinging to expireds.
Yeah.
Again, if you can find any, or if you could, but that's why you have to have a database.
Yeah.
Database of, a lot of, and then there's home value leads. There's different sources of leads and stuff like that. But again, that goes back to practicing real estate,
Right.
because you host an open house, all of a sudden, yeah, I'm not working with anybody. Well, you have a property sale. Yeah, we do. Oh, wow. Great. Now there you have a chance to be interviewed. You got 3 minutes. So hopefully, again, today we're a little more casual, but you have your jacket on, you look professional. People are gonna do business with you if they like you, know you, believe you, and trust you.
Yeah.
Got a hard job. You gotta do that in 90 seconds or less.
Yeah. Authenticity is
Oh,
key.
yeah. And you come off that way, but then and again, sometimes it's easier to have a baby than it is to buy or sell a house. So now you got through, and then reality kicks in, which is why I spoke to you a long time ago. Right? Reality comes in, and yes, somebody who has a condo in Raintree or something like that, yeah, of course they'll list with you.
Yeah.
But at some point you want to graduate to the big boys.
That's true.
Because and I don't mean the million or plus. Then you go 6 or 7. Because those commissions are really nice.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And you get 8 or 9, and then if you have the luck to convince somebody at 1.2 million or 1.5 million, those commissions are really, really nice.
Nice paycheck.
Those are really nice.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just closed both sides of a sale on Friday in Colston, 1.85 million. That was
Nice.
a nice year.
Congrats.
Yeah. So the thing is, but at the same time, again, that's gone. I mean,
Right.
you don't rest on your laurels. You don't spend it. It's gone. Now we go keep going.
Keep going for more business.
Yeah.
Keep
Well,
hunting.
I'm at my point in my career. That's there's more yesterdays than there are tomorrows.
Yeah.
So you have 50 years left, so you can afford to make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
I don't want to.
I have to be precise, and I mean precise, like an assassin on everything I'm doing.
Yeah. Bouncing off that, How did you get involved with like luxury? Because you focus a lot on Homedale and Colts Neck, correct?
Well, I live in Homedale, so that was kind of a thing.
No-brainer.
A lot of the buyer leads when I signed up for some of those websites, I focused again. When you first start your career, and I got it, you know, you go wherever the money is.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone. I'd like to see these 3 houses in Bridgewater. Bing, I'm up 287.
Right.
You know. And I was doing flat fee.
Yeah.
Trust me, the word got out, and the people call me. Yeah, I'd like to list my house in Bridgewater, 1.4 million for $500. I'm going like Jesus. Well, but again, I got my name out
You
there.
got your name
right?
set.
I got my name out there. 15 years ago, still to this day, the top realtor, the top team of the Keller Williams team up in Bridgewater. I was showing houses last week, and she go, "Oh, John, nice to see you." You know,
you.
yeah, she remembered me. Oh, yeah, she remembered me.
Yeah.
Because I've been up there a couple of times, you know, over the years. But again, I would never concentrate up there. But again, if somebody's gonna, you know, I got a buyer now. People in Freehold, they're upgrading to there, 1 million, 1.1 million. So it's worth me, you know, to go up there, you know, for $25,000, $28,000 commission, right? Would you go up there?
I would run
Okay.
there.
So my point is that when you first start out, you know, you go anywhere.
Yeah.
You know. However, that's really not the most efficient way. The most efficient way is to focus, like you live in Jackson.
Yeah.
Right. So
Well,
you
now Red Bank. Actually.
Red Bank.
Yeah. I just
Oh.
moved.
Okay, but wherever you basically
Right.
are hanging out or focus your business,
Yeah.
you focus Marlboro, Manalapan, and Freehold.
Yeah.
Then you go to Howell, then you go maybe a little Jackson if you want to go south, but if you want to go north, then you go to Colts Neck or something like that. And again, when you're young in the office, you always ask, you know, if you don't have a listing, you go in the office and you go, you know, who can I volunteer? You put it up on the board. You know, sometimes, you know, or if you really know, you can actually, like Matt Merritt, you go to the top listing brokers and you go to their inventory.
Yeah.
And you go and you have a little bit of nerve, and you go and you ask, you know, hey, I'd like to volunteer, but you ask on a Monday or a Tuesday. Don't ask on Friday.
Right.
You know, ask on a Monday or a Tuesday. Hey, can I volunteer to host your 3-point, your thing, and then you host an open house and you might meet somebody.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah, you gotta be hungry for
Yeah,
it.
that's what it works. So you can't either, oh yeah, I want to be a luxury broker. Yeah, we all do. But the thing about it, but you have to also have
Yeah.
credibility. You have to have a track record.
Yeah.
And that's, once you have the track record, then you have credibility.
Yeah.
So it goes hand in hand. It does. It's true. But that's why you want to start sometimes on a team that does that, because this way you have exposure to that right away.
How was building your track record? Do you think it was more of like a slow climb or like a fast climb?
Well, because of the flat fee,
flat fee.
it was a rocket.
Yeah.
Because I had 130 listings, and then I had 100. The first year I had 100 something transactions, 150.
Yeah.
It was sick.
That's
It was sick.
insane.
Yeah. So I mean, and then I just kept running. That's it. Just kept running. Now, forming a team. I don't know. Is that part of the question? I don't want to
No,
keep
going.
going.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, forming a team. Everybody wants a team.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a business, but really, there's nothing like the Keller Williams model. Where again, it's the philosophy and your business acumen, right? You can have, everybody wants their name, okay? Do I want to have the Natale agency? Absolutely. But do I want to, where else can you
Or
go?
overhead.
Where else can you go where you have your business underneath the banner, the broker, you pay the split, the small fee, right?
Right.
And then the business, you run the rest of the business for yourself.
And once you can-
Now, everyone has a different structure, right? Some people buy a whole bunch of leads and then they give them out like with cards, right? And hey Mike, you want one of these? It's 50-50. Okay, great. You look at the start, you go like, I just thought, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just want to get a paycheck. That's it.
Right.
And so that's a business plan. Mine is more mentoring and coaching. I
Yeah.
do have leads coming in, but more listing leads, seller leads, and stuff like that. We really work more with coaching and mentoring and talking about, what do we say to people.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing for my success is how I really worked it as a craft for over the last 5 or 6 years to really be precise with my language of real estate.
Yeah.
How I'm talking to people, the tone, because I'm a maniac just like you.
Psychology behind it.
I'm a control freak just like you. But I already know. You're a seller. Here's the inspection list. I know you're not fixing anything. I know I got it. I know I don't. But yet, when I first started, and I would go, hey, Bob, we got a couple of things to fix, and now there's a $32,000 commission on this list. right? I'll put this back. But my point is that $32,000 commission on that, and he started in it, which is 99.99% of all sellers. Oh yeah, I'm gonna fix it. I'm not fixing anything. I would literally come over the table, you know. Now we have an adversarial relationship, because he would tell me, well, are you my agent, or are you just looking for the commission?
Right.
So, yeah, I had to learn a lot, you know,
Yeah.
to really calm down and be patient, you know, stuff like that. And the things that I don't control, you know, just breathe. It's not easy, because there's a lot of money involved.
Yeah.
You know, even on both sides of that, you know, Colts Neck, you know, that I don't think it was ever shaky, but we still had to go through the home inspection, and again, you know, you're going like, oh, Mr. Home Inspector, don't find anything,
Right.
please, you know, but then he found a couple of things, and then I'm going like, well, I hope he fixes them, you know, hope it's not that bad, you know. I mean, because, I mean, it's happened, you know, I mean, you know, when you have motivated people, then, you know, motivated buyer and motivated seller, it just, there always becomes a fair solution.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you wait to the absolute last minute before it collapses, before you have to throw some of your commission back,
Yeah.
you know? Because the most important thing is the old strategy, the old, well, it's eternal,
Yeah.
you know, it's universal. 12,000 is better than no thousand,
Yeah.
okay? So you may have an $18,000 commission, but if you had to give back 6,000, you know, nobody wants to. And literally, I wait until the very, very, very end. It's about, like, he's sending the termination letter, hold on. Let me see if I could, you know, let me talk to the
Try to
seller,
fix
let me
this.
talk to the buyer.
That's what the
and
business
let
is.
me-
It's
you
all
know,
putting out fires, basically.
at the end, you know,
Yeah.
but you don't offer the commission early on, never, until the very, when
Last
I mean the
resort.
very, very, and it's about to collapse.
Ooh.
You know, oh, it's not easy. I mean,
Scary
you know,
time.
I mean, it's not easy. Sometimes you have a buyer and a seller, you know, it happens all the time, you know, but you don't try to, you know, because if you give it up early, and then you, say for example, like you're negotiating a contract, although there's no negotiations anymore, right? But I mean, just saying you're negotiating a contract, and they're literally like 3,000 apart, and you're going like, oh my God, and then they're both stuck,
Yeah.
you know, in the mud.
Yeah.
And then you talk to the other agent, all right, if you give a 0.5%, how about we both do it for 2%? That's great. So, but if you do it at that point, what happens if you need it for the now you have inspections, and now there's problem with inspection. Oh my, I already gave,
Yeah.
you know, 1,500. Now I gotta give another 1,500, and now you're doing the deal for 1%, and you're going like, you know,
Right.
I really needed the money.
Yeah.
I learned a long time ago, even in foreclosure, the seller's got more money than me. So don't give up your commission until the very, very end, and only if 12,000 is better than no thousand. 3,000 is better than no thousand. If you go with that philosophy, again, it's not whipping it at the beginning of the trend, it's waiting until the very bitter end. It's not easy, there's an art to that, you know, because
Yeah.
otherwise, and the other thing too is, as an agent, you must get involved in the transaction.
Yeah.
I see too many young people,
Hands off. They don't know what's going on.
well, they just let the attorney do it,
Yeah. No.
okay? And if you're using a really, really good attorney, he's gonna be really busy.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's just, it's not that, you know, some of the ones that I use, I don't know if we wanna talk about names, but I'm just saying all the better ones, no, because then this is
Yeah.
universal.
Yeah.
So the thing about it, the ones that I use, they're very, very good.
Yeah.
But they're very big in demand, and they don't really, you know, they're very good attorneys, very, very good attorneys. They actually read stuff in the stuff that I miss.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're not gonna make decisions, you know,
Right.
for it, and a lot of times you're just pushing emails through
Back and forth. Yeah.
so you have to be involved in the transaction, because if you're not, you're just gonna be doomed to opening your email going like, wow, I got terminated, and your client didn't even tell you. I mean, he actually spoke to his attorney, you know,
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and then you're calling him going like, why'd you terminate? But meanwhile, again, he'll ghost you and everything else
You
like
should,
that.
you should know that before the client knows, almost, if you're in communication with the
Yeah,
attorney.
you should know,
Yeah.
yeah, it's happened to me many
Yeah,
times.
no, it happens. That's one of the biggest, I think, takeaways that I've learned so far in my career, is that you really, as the agent, have to stay on top of every single party in order to make sure everything runs smooth.
Right, yeah,
It's
no,
very
and
important.
that's being a good businessman.
Yeah.
You know, because again, it's not because of, okay, if you're Rob Dekansky and you got 1,200 transactions, but he's got four transaction people, but stuff falls through the cracks over there.
It must, it has
Okay,
to, it's
that's all
impossible.
right, he's got 7 million coming in, it's all right, you know, but
Yeah.
the thing is just that, you know, and even if you have a lot of, you know, I don't let anything fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
Cause
Yeah.
that one busted deal is not coming back.
Right, right.
You know, I think that's the biggest thing that I learned about, you know, about the COVID, is that, you know, mentally I go like, all right, just want one deal a month, one. I can survive on 1 month. You know, my expenses are really low, really low. I chopped them even further, and again, I've done really well. So it's not going to be the end of the world if 6 months we were shut down in real estate. I wouldn't like it, but I also know that when we got shut down in Sandy for 2 months, that all of a sudden everybody, and it's almost the same thing that's happening now. Back then, everybody was at the water, so get me the F out of the water and get me to Freehold, get me to Marlboro, we couldn't sell things fast enough.
Right.
I mean, in 2013, we couldn't sell things fast enough. That was my biggest year in Keller Williams.
Wow.
Up until that point. And then,
that makes a lot of sense.
I don't know where some of these questions are, but the rest of them, but when I finally leveraged, when I finally learned to really execute the Millionaire Agent book.
Yeah.
See, I don't care what kind of coach you are, how big of a team you are. Obviously I'm the LeBron James, I'm the Michael Jordan of the team, right? I mean,
the Rainmaker.
I'm the Rainmaker on my team. I mean, we do a significant. I think last, I don't talk numbers, but I did 50% of whatever the team did.
Awesome. That's
so
awesome.
I think we did 2.1 million in commissions and stuff like that.
Wow.
So I did 50%, and then the team did 50%. But I have a lot of people. But a lot of people still starting.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people, but at the same time, I'm not. Even as the coach, you're not as good as you are unless you have the horses.
Yeah.
Phil Jackson would be an ordinary Joe if he didn't coach Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, right? I mean, think of how many basketball coaches there are. There's some really good ones.
Yeah.
But if they didn't have, Phil Jackson didn't have. So my point is, like, if I didn't have the Mike Greco's, and I had some really outstanding realtors on my team, and I still do. I mean, the ones that are really they're horses.
Yeah.
So they're they're big producers, and they're but they're learning their craft, and that's why they stay on the team.
Yeah.
Is to learn. And that's my job as their coach and their mentor is first of all to lead by example. You have to be a leader, and you lead by example. About your transaction, how we do business, and everything else like that. So, keep going.
Well, I was going to ask you, talking before about dealing with clients and having to stay on top of the clients and situations of commission. I was going to ask you, have you had any crazy client experiences that you can talk about, like any craziness?
Well, I had 20. It happens every day, and stuff like that. I think that's probably one of the, rather than really telling stories, which we always could, that's like for $1 million listing and stuff like that. I just think that it's actually, I don't call it a job. Yeah.
You're doing a TV show soon?
Yeah. Well, I was actually interviewed, but I was actually boring.
Let's talk about that.
No, the HGTV wanted, they would. This is like 10 years ago, 8 years ago. They were interviewing me, at the time, but I wasn't controversial enough.
Oh, really?
If you really look at the story, if you really look at it, or if you watch even the new one that's on Bravo that's selling Sunset.
That's Netflix,
Netflix. They only want what's the name? They only want drama.
They want all the women fighting.
They want everybody fighting. Stuff like that. They don't want to see interesting things or what do you have to do behind the scenes and negotiating. Kind of boring. I mean it's all right once in a while, but people don't want to see that. But I think that I call it really a profession. I don't call it a job. I call it a profession, and I just think that it's very, very fascinating. It's very interesting because you get to meet all different kinds of people. And if you're a strategy person and you're you want the challenge, you just want to meet people and you want to know, how am I going to make this grumpy, how am I going to make this grumpy owner smile?
Yeah.
How am I going to get through? How am I, this guy's been on the market for 7 years. Okay.
Yeah.
How am I going to finally be the one?
Yeah.
And that's the part that I really take pride in because you really do have a really serious responsibility and you have a really serious part of this person's life that some people are stuck. That's where where I have the advantage over somebody younger because of all my years of experience. So when I talk, it's not that people, people don't have to listen, but again, when you practice, Mike, this level of language of sales, you basically, try to reason with people, and you have all facets of personalities.
Yeah.
The high D's, the guy, like now I'm doing a deal and on 62 Lehigh. My clients, like somebody like you, and the seller is, literally two maniacs. He's an attorney, the husband's an attorney, and the wife's a teacher. But both are really high personalities.
Yeah.
So it's interesting,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
again, just be patient and calm.
Yeah.
When you're patient and calm and they're maniac, it's, if I'm a maniac and they're a maniac, that transaction's not happening. Be calm and patient and persistent with your requests and stuff like that. They'll eventually get it, because at the end of the day, it's their motivation,
Yeah.
to get out of it.
So it's
That's
very-
the other thing too, you have to be really, really good at reading motivation.
That's what I was gonna say.
Reading people.
Yeah, I was gonna say, basically what I'm getting from what you're saying is it's very important to read the type of personality you're dealing with and then accordingly react, because
Always.
everybody's different.
And that's the biggest thing that I can share with you is, it's not as being a salesperson, you're actually a counterpuncher. You're listening and then coming over with a solution or a line or something like that,
Yeah.
Because then people will want to do business with you.
Yeah.
And then people will somehow be semi-loyal to you,
Yeah.
which is
Hopefully.
the biggest thing.
Referrals.
Well, semi-loyal to you is that they'll stick with you.
Yeah.
Whether they're on the listing side and they listed a little too high, and then if you give them your energy, they'll stick with you.
They
even
trust
if
you.
even if it's expired.
Yeah.
Again, 3 Coltsgate Lane was on the market for 2 years, 2 years, 1 month, 1 day. So every 6 months we had to have that conversation, right?
Right.
But we never had that conversation. I would just say, I'm putting a new MLS number. He would just go, okay. So it
Yeah.
was, but at any point in time, I could have been fired. Could have went out.
He trusted you and you had that language with
He
him.
liked the energy,
Yeah.
that we were bringing, all consistent. We did open house for him almost every Sunday.
Wow, 2 years.
2.8, started 2.8 million, and then we had was going on at the market.
He saw that you were putting the effort.
They're
though.
putting the
That's what
effort,
it's about.
but anybody will, as long as you put the effort in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
That's why even as a buyer's agent, you gotta put the effort in. But John, what do you mean by that? Taking them out the house. No. You have to study the hot sheet. Now they're getting the alerts as fast as you're getting the alerts. Sometimes even faster. So you look at your phone. My phone's been going off while I'm here. I'm hoping that nobody's calling me, going like, "Get me into this house." No, but I'm just saying that they're like, you got to be almost like you're kind of like a fireman.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the
Reactive.
downside. You have something planned, although now with coronavirus we got nothing planned, but let's just say, for example, you had something planned. You think, guys, going out for pizza. Yeah, we're going out for pizza. And all of a sudden, no, you're not going out for pizza, because Mary, who you've been working with now, just saw something down in Tom's River and says, get me in.
Right.
And you're going like, oh, geez, here we go. It's gonna be like another 32 offers, and what are we doing?
Right.
And, and then it sucks after that. But but that's part of the job.
It's worth it. You're creating a relationship. You're showing that you're dependable, reliable.
And then on the sell side, you're giving them energy.
Yeah.
And that's the key to having a team, or being in a really good office, because now if you do get 5 or 7 listings at a time, and you go like, oh, listen, I promise you an open house every weekend.
You gotta
I
find
don't know about you,
people.
but I only see one Mike Greco, but that's why you have to leverage yourself. I can
Yeah.
only be in one place at one time,
Yeah.
which is the reason why you want listings, because, you could be on the beach and sell 3 houses,
That's true. That's true.
Can't be selling 3 houses if you're at the Belmar Beach.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the beach.
Yes.
Final question for the podcast.
Okay.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Well, that's easy, that's retired, I think I got 9.5 years left. That's my goal, to be there in 2030,
Okay.
probably to retire. I just think it's been, God, it's all about health. And believe it or not, I'm 65, so, and that's crazy, I should be retired already, I'm eligible for Medicare. But my point is that, even though I started later in life, God's blessed me with really great health. And I got a great model at Keller Williams, and a great broker to work for, and a great environment.
Yeah.
So I love what I'm doing. In fact, people still think I'm crazy. I personally do about 140 transactions, 20 buyers, 20 or 20, maybe 30. I probably got
Majority
probably
listings.
30 buyers, right? 30 buyers in the majority of listings.
Okay.
But I always get asked, why the hell are you going out? Why are you going, why don't you sit back and just do listings and stuff like that, and just give out those buyers? I still enjoy going out. I still enjoy showing homes.
Yeah.
Again, and when you're on my level, it's got to be 600,000 or more.
Right.
I don't go out and I give out all the lower price stuff. stuff. Not that I'm too, I don't beneath me. Trust me, if it was a friend or a referral, and I'm there for $350,000, I remember one client, he sold a big house. He was downsizing to something in Monroe. It was $130,000. And thank God he found it right away, because I'm going like, oh Jesus, this is $132,000. I mean, didn't matter to me. I mean, I was there, but you're fulfilling what you are. People are depending upon you to get them from plan A to plan B, or point A to point B, and stuff like that. So I don't know exactly where I'll be, but again, my plan was to build a huge team so that the profit share, if I coached enough people and my tree grew. Yeah. And then we're at one of the most profitable Keller Williams franchises that that I'm at. That my Social Security plus my 21st of the month would help me get by.
I think you're on track for that. Yeah, I mean, it looks like you're doing good.
We're on track for that. Yeah. Well, again, we always have that the whole thing. We make plans and God laughs. I mean, I could leave today and not, that's it. Today's the last day.
Enjoying it.
But that's why you have to really enjoy, doing what you're doing. When you're young, you got 60 years. Seriously, you got I got I have plenty of time to make mistakes and always come back. Yeah, it's true. But at the same time, it's when you're 23, you should you ask yourself, where do I want to be at 30? And when you get 30, where you want to be at 40? And you should have 1 year, 1, 3, 5. All the things you're learning at Keller Williams, the 1, 3, 5 plan is excellent. You should ask yourself where you want to be in 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years. We really don't know where we're going to be tomorrow. Yeah. I know where I'm going to be in 10 minutes. I'm going to be over Burger King, but no. Yeah. But my point is that it's important to have that, because that's what you're striving for. Yeah. Right, and have certain numbers and stuff like that. I don't know. It's funny. People always, there are certain people that literally look at their numbers every week, maybe every few days. I only look twice a year.
Really?
Right now, June 30th, yesterday.
Halfway.
And July 31st. Now, I do know where I am, because obviously I can see where my bank book is. I can see where my money's coming in. I see how many I got pending, 37 pending, 18 listings or whatever I got. I know I'm making sales. I know I got, So it's not that I'm a big shot. I just know where I am. But I really don't even get caught up in the numbers. I watch who's doing business. I watch this one, that one, stuff like that. Yeah. Keller Williams is an open book. You can go inside your mykw.kw.com. You can see how much money I'm making. I can see how much your money you're making. I mean, it is what it is.
Pretty interesting.
I've been the top producer here for 14 years in a row. Yeah. Whoever always finishes number 2 always posts on on the Facebook that year and says, next year I'm taking the tally down. And
they say that?
Oh, they do all the time.
On Facebook?
Every Christmas party, it's the same thing. And it's a different person it's a different team every year. It's a different team every year. So most of them end up leaving Keller Williams because they.
I love that though. It's fun. It's competition.
But guess what? It's motivation for me.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Every time something aggravates me. Somebody in the company, I didn't get it, and they I don't know, it's some other drama, right? Just go out and take another 5 more listings, and do a lot more business and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, that's what you do on the field, and be consistent, and people will respect you. It's not just a matter of just doing business and being a jerk. It's like you want people to respect you and go, listen, they show you a listing, and you go, they see your name on the listing, and go, yeah, I want to show that listing. Right. Yeah, that guy, I had a great deal with that guy. It was a tough deal, blah, 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 but we worked together, we got it done. Yeah. So I like working with that person, and stuff like that. And it's important. And especially as your name, your name and your reputation is, if people, if you've been involved, have you been involved in some bidding wars? Have you represented some clients and stuff like that? Okay, and then you get the call, Mike, sorry. Did the owner even see my thing? I thought we made a great offer. The asking price was $299. We went to $308. And stuff like that. Sorry, Mike. I mean, you're not checking 2 months. And even if it closed at $305, there's one. What good does that do? You have no idea what happened, right? So my point is that your reputation is the most important part, and how you're working with people, how you talking to other people, other agents, not just the people that met you.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's just as important,
Yeah.
you know, stuff like that. And you're building your business and you're building your reputation. And as time goes on, you just like one of the Yankees, you just elevate your game
Yeah.
to a level. And then the hardest part is staying up there. That's where I am, you know. You know, with the team and everything, I got up there around 2015, but 2017 went to another level. Now I've been staying there, you know, which again, it's not easy to stay up there and be consistent up at that level
Right.
of production. But I have been, you know,
Yeah.
because I practice real estate,
Mm.
right? 3 Cold Skate Lane, yeah, you know, I finally got it sold. But the thing about it is I sacrificed, I went and did an open house every Sunday. I met a lot of people.
Yeah.
And
connections.
normally, like you meet so many people, you should have other transactions from that, but for some reason or not, you know, I didn't meet one other person. But there's other listings though, that we had 3 or 4 transactions. You know, like I think we did 10 Candlelight Drive in Homedale, literally between me and my co-agent. I mean, he sold 2 other houses. We had another listing from that, a big $1.7 million listing from that. And, you know, I had 3 other transactions. So it's
That's awesome.
totally arbitrary, you know. And actually that one, well, no, that one was on the market for a while. But there's others that, you know, you got, you know. I think my first listing, my first listing, well, my first transaction you asked about, but my first listing
Yeah.
was a flat fee listing, 1.1 million in Homedale. And I remember the first Sunday I did an open house. Oh, it was best pandemonium. I think I was all alone, and I think I had about 15 visitors.
Wow.
I had 5 transactions from that first open house.
Wow, that's a
So
great.
people are like, oh, what do you're killing us. You're listing homes for $500. Yeah, I sold 5 houses. I made over $100,000 in commissions
Right.
from my one over the year. I mean,
Yeah.
it took me a little while to sell a couple of things. I'm still very good friends with a couple of those people.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That was my first listing.
It's a
So,
big lift off.
you know,
right
I
there.
really appreciate you. I hope this was great.
Yeah.
Listen, I'd
thanks
love
for
to come
coming
back
on.
anytime. I know you got other guests coming, you know,
Yeah, we got
some other jabronis, but it's okay. I'm not mad at you. I saw the list. They're good people, but I think everybody has something to share.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. We share. I keep going to family reunion, and do I have to go? No, I don't have to go, but I go because you know why? I'm like you. I still want to learn.
Yeah.
I'm on every one of Ben Kenny's webinars and stuff like that whenever I can make them, because he always has something that's improved, that's something that's added, that's something that I could utilize,
Yeah.
or it's a refresher. You turn around and you go like, oh shit, I forgot about that.
It's a
I was
motivation.
using that line in January, and I don't know what happened, but somehow that dropped off my script.
Yeah.
You know, let me come back with that.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. So I hope this was really fun. It was fun for me.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really
Yeah.
appreciate you coming. I think.
And I am so honored, all right, to be the first one.
podcast.
The first one. Well, you
I,
should start with the best.
I appreciate you coming, and I think you dropped a lot of valuable knowledge on everybody. I'm sure people are going to enjoy this video, and you're definitely going to have to come back.
All right. Thank you very much. I can do, specific stuff.
Promote yourself. Anything, anywhere you want anybody to follow you.
No, that's okay.
Instagram,
Instagram,
Facebook.
J Natale 55. Our team.natale.realtors is on Instagram, and listen, I always appreciate the shout out and everything else like that.
Yeah.
And that's how we build. You know, that's what makes Keller Williams so great, is that you have a chance to, ask the great one a couple of things, and now you just gotta go out and
Looks good.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for-
so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for watching Real Talk. We'll be here next week, Thursday as well. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to follow us on YouTube as well, and Greco Realty on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. See you guys next week.